I'm Chief Ryan Beaver with the Stanley Police Department. Along with me today is Officer Rebecca Jenkins, and we're sitting down with the Page Alliance for Community Action Program Director Megan Gordon and Chairman Ryan Cubbage. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time out. What exactly is Page Alliance for Community Action?
That's a really good question, and one we get hit with quite a few times. So I will give you all the quote-unquote boring textbook definition off of our website, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what it is that PACA does. So Page Alliance for Community Action, it's a non-profit coalition of agencies, parents, youth, and concerned citizens. Our main goal is to promote healthy life choices for the youth and families in Page County. We work to provide a healthy, drug-free environment for those in our community. Basically, to make a long story short, so PACA works in the community to make our residents a little happier, healthier, and a lot safer, and keep them substance free. And that takes a lot of different forms and looks at a lot of different ways, something that Megan will touch on here in just a little bit. But our main focus is getting the families and youth and everyone who lives here or works here or plays here in Page County to a happier, healthier, and safer place.
All right, and you hit it. Most of the time, it's recognized as PACA instead of what you see on the papers that you when you have an event usually use just a
That's
PACA.
what we recognize. We see.
It rolls off the tongue a lot easier. It's a little shorter.
Right,
The
right,
Page Alliance for
absolutely.
Community Action.
Right.
Yeah, right. How did PACA get started?
So it was probably in 2006. It kind of was born out of the Page County Public Schools, the Sheriff's Office, Northwestern, and some of our other service providers. They saw a need in the community to get involved with the kids in the school to prevent substance misuse. And so a group was formed, and they started going after some smaller grants and applied to be a nonprofit, and we continue to grow. So here we are today. If I could do my math, 17 years. 17
Wow.
years later.
Wow.
Yep.
That's great. That really is.
Yep.
Yeah. So you kind of mentioned that you don't just focus on youth, it's families, right? So a lot of times we see that PACA is involved in school, and that makes sense because it kind of got its foothold in starting with the school. But what else does PACA do, not just with youth?
That's a great question, and I think there can be a clear idea of hey, maybe PACA exclusively works with the youth. They're obviously a large focus of ours. I mean, because our kiddos today are the leaders of tomorrow, so we really want to make sure that we're giving those skills, those tools for them to be able to succeed in the future. But the youth is just a component of the population that we work with. We're working more or less with families, with parents, again, with those youth, but working with our senior citizen population, working across the various sectors of the community. And I know Megan's going to touch on some of those particular programs.
Okay.
But I think the most important thing to remember is that, regardless of your age or demographic or anything like that, if you are in Page County, we are here to help you.
Okay.
All right. We know that PACA organizes a lot of events throughout the whole county, from Shenandoah to Raleighville. Some of those are like the Turkey Trot, the Sunflower Festival, and most recently, this past weekend, was the Polar Plunge. Right. What other events does PACA promote or are they involved with?
So we do a lot. So our primary focus is to prevent substance misuse, and a big part of that is to provide positive pro-social outlets for youth and families. So that's why we're involved with so many of the events that you named. We also have free swim lessons that we provide here at Hawksbill Pool and Lake Arrowhead in the summer through some grant funding through the Shenandoah Valley Electric Cooperative. So that's for kindergarten through 5th grade youth, and that is to promote them being outside and active swimming, but also to provide them with safety skills. So a big part of the swim lessons are to provide them with safety. We have porch visits where we go visit families. We have about 80 families enrolled in our porch visit program. They're underserved families. Anybody is welcome to enroll. We take recommendations from school counselors or other agencies. And as long as they have kids in the house under 18, we provide them with meals made by the school system and additional food for families that we get donated from the Page One Food Bank. And then sometimes from our gardens. So we also have 3 community gardens. One is here in Stanley, one's in Luray, and one is in Shenandoah, all adjacent to the Valley Health campuses, and they're open to the public. We will be getting ready to start some seeds with the kids in the high schools and getting ready to plant the gardens here in May, maybe late April, early May. So we have those. We have after-school programs. We run an after-school program at Luray Elementary School and Page County Middle School. And again, that is to provide the kids with a safe space to be when their parents aren't home till they can pick them up. They go to about 5:15. Also, it helps to do a little enrichment through school, help with some of the subjects they may be struggling with, and then help with engagement to keep them in school. And then we do a lot, I know sometimes you see our billboards, so we do a lot with advertising and messaging out in the community. And then we also support our law enforcement. We have funding where we work with the sheriff's office, and they go out and do compliance checks and party patrols to try to monitor what's going on out in the community to increase presence and hopefully deter use. So we're doing a lot of different things.
What is a compliance check, though?
So a compliance check is when a law enforcement officer goes in with somebody who is underage to buy, so they're under 21, and they try to purchase alcohol or tobacco products in the store. And if the store does not pass, then there's a conversation that is had with the clerk and the owner, and if it happens multiple times, other things happen. And then we can identify that, so the kids learn when they go in. They get to learn why it's important, that you only sell to 21 and older. And then the store owners can get additional training if they continue to fail. So it's a way to ensure that products aren't being sold to our youth.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think it's a great idea too. Nowadays, of course, both mom and dad both work in the evenings, so the child or they need something to do, and some of them aren't always involved in sports, like most of us were. So, I mean, that's great. That I didn't know you did that myself.
One of the things too, just to piggyback off of your question, asking about how PACA began, and piggybacking off of what Megan said, one of the coolest things that I've seen so far is that, while our focus is preventing substance misuse, I think a lot of folks still think of, the older DARE programs,
Right.
and it's like, hey, don't do this, and drugs taste like bugs, that sort of stuff. But in reality, we're trying to build families and youth up and really go to the source of that issue, versus kind of treating these symptoms of a problem. So again, helping, our youth see the value in being those good leaders and being productive members of the community, and helping families see that as well. It really leads to just a closer knit community, which sees to that reduction in the use of substances. It sees a reduction in crime. You see the reduction in costs associated with health expenses. So it's really a comprehensive approach.
Right.
And I know, and it's not just educating and doing the work with the kids. We also provide a lot of education for the parents. So that's a lot of the literature the rec cards and stuff that we put out. That's why we're at so many events. And we bring in guest speakers. We recently brought in Sam Kiones and Stephen Hill. They come to speak to the kids. Often we like to bring them to speak to the parents too. We help to sponsor different things at National Night Out with the Hidden in Plain Sight events, where we take parents or adult community members through display where they can see some of the different trends, some of the different things that could indicate substance misuse. So it's about working like full circle with all of it to really try to provide healthy alternatives, and then some education and decrease accessibility. Because when Ryan said we work with seniors, we hand out lock boxes and timer caps and disposal bags to try to get prescription medication that could be misused out of medicine cabinets, encouraged to be locked up. So we're trying to do some of those things, and that is to decrease accessibility to some of these substances.
Right. I just happen to be looking, and I think I've been to most of your guys' events or been involved in. I don't think the Sunflower Festival.
Oh, you're missing out, man. You're missing out.
I'm looking here. Every event that you guys put on, there's always several hundred people at all of them. I remember 3, maybe 4 years ago at our National Night Out, there was 600 or 700 kids in Stanley, and then another 400 or 500 in Luray. So it's the message is definitely getting out there to the youth, and there's a lot of parents there at the events, because we have it at the pool where they can swim and that type of thing. So we are getting the youth out, which is a major ordeal now. That's an accomplishment to me in itself, is just getting the youth to come out and be involved in something.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about PACA is you do a great job of educating, of like, hey, here are the dangers, but it's so much about what you can do that's positive. It's not just about, hey, don't do this, because it's, hey, how about you do this? Like, consider being outside, go for a walk, join all of these people at this social event.
If you tell a teenager not to do something, what usually happens,
Right.
right?
Oh,
The
absolutely.
opposite. So, yeah, absolutely. So,
Who can be involved in PACA? If someone's interested in volunteering or coming to one of your meetings, how would they go about that?
that is a great question. I'm glad you asked. So in keeping with all the events that we do and everything, it does take a large amount of volunteers.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
we are always open to folks, learning more about PACA, coming to our meetings and getting involved through volunteering. We're always looking for volunteers for our community gardens, for our events, working in our school systems. And the easiest way to get involved, visit our website, pagecoalition.org. Check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Send us a direct message. If you don't know where to start, just send us a message and say, hey, how do I get involved? And you're more than welcome to stop by one of our PACA meetings. They're the second Tuesday of each month at Laurel Ridge Community College there in Luray. We welcome anyone to come by. And of course, speaking for myself, anyone is more than welcome to reach out to me directly, personally, whether via my phone number, via social media. If you're interested in getting involved in the community, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will
Right.
certainly find a job for
You're
you.
not going to turn anybody down once
Not
they
at all.
has some extra time. Right.
So I also see social media accounts for YPACA. Is that the same as PACA? Is that different? What's the difference there?
So it's the same, it's just our youth PACA. So they wanted to keep our PACA, they wanted to keep the PACA name, so that's why they're YPACA. And their I guess, mascot is a llama, or alpaca. Alpaca for YPACA. There you go.
You almost called it a llama.
Almost got a llama. It's an alpaca. It looks like a llama. But they are the same. So they're in our both of our high schools. There's YPACA groups. So that's some of our student leaders who've come to our clubs. We are there for club day, and they stay after school. There are a lot of our leaders that are at most of our events.
Okay. So I actually was able to hear one of your YPACA presenters, and they have a pretty big project going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Chief knows about this. Can you explain what their newest fundraiser is for the 25? I think they're looking for $25,000 for their.
They want a space, a hangout space. Yes. So each year our YPACAs go to a YADAP training, and they come out of it with a plan. They call it a stand plan. And it's pretty much what we do, but kind of on a little scaled down version. Because every year we do a lot of measurement. We look at our outcomes and make sure we're kind of on the right track. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did. They looked at what they wanted to change. And their plan was they wanted to raise some money or have for a promise to build a center, like a hangout place, or have a mobile hangout space. It doesn't necessarily have to be a set building, but they wanted to be able to create a hangout space for teens.
So is it kind of like a youth community center?
Kind of like a youth community center,
Okay.
or if there's a space out there that's already available, utilizing that space. So their goal in their plan this year was to raise $25,000 as a promise to create that space, to get that space started.
Okay, so there's a lot of fundraising. You guys are working really hard to raise funds, and you're always trying to generate that energy so that you can work on your next project. What can our community do to support PACA? Not everyone may be able to donate monetary donation. What else can someone do to make sure that they're supporting PACA?
they can get involved. Or, like I said, the youth want some type of hangout space. If anybody has space that could be used for anything like that, we are always looking for donations of in-kind, any type of in-kind donations, anything for events, any help with events. And we have a lot of partners. I have to say this community is amazing. We have so many wonderful partners. We couldn't do what we do without everybody that helps do everything between the town of Stanley. Terry Pettit is at every PACA meeting. They're a wonderful partner. The town of Luray, the town of Shenandoah, all of our law enforcement agencies, the schools, our businesses. We have a lot of businesses that are wonderful partners. If you have an idea, for something and you might want us to help partner, reach out to us.
Right.
We welcome any type of, it doesn't have to be monetary. Do we like monetary donations? We do, because we are grant funded. So what we're really trying to do is sustain without grant funding. Figure out, we're trying to build, that's what a lot of our fundraising is going towards, sustaining our programs without having to use grants, but we're also looking at more permanent ways for sustainability. So there's a lot of exciting things going on.
Yeah, I think PACA does a phenomenal job showing that although many of our agencies in the county are not strong enough to take all of this on their own, if we all work together and everybody chips in, take a little bit, I can meet you I can meet you halfway on this, or this is what I can contribute. We're a very strong community when we are working together for something.
We're very fortunate. The playground, we raised $40,000 in about 45 days. And for Page County being a rural community, that is excellent in my opinion. But it's sort of like when you need the community always comes out to help you, whether it's monetarily or whether it's volunteering for whatever the event is. So we're pretty fortunate in the county and town that we live in.
I would agree with that, and the only thing I would add too, is again, Megan, you said it very well about just expressing our gratitude for, all the collaboration. There's so many agencies and groups of folks who come together that are able to help and get that message out. People now, we just learned, are hit with an average of 10,000 ads per day. 10,000 ads per day. So for us, it does truly take a village to get that message out.
Sure.
But by being able to partner and work so well with everyone in this community, that's how we're able to get that message out. So I guess my number one, call to action to support PACA and the community would be simply to get involved.
Right.
Simply ask that question. There's no way that we can combat or solve a problem if we don't even know it exists.
Exactly.
So get out in the community, come to our events, reach out to us, find out what's going on. Like you said, it doesn't have to be a monetary donation whatsoever. Donate your time. Be a good mentor. All of those are ways that you can make a positive difference in your community, and thereby, you're supporting PACA and its mission and its goals.
Great point. Absolutely.
So I will include your website, contact information, and all of your socials so that everybody can follow and check out what you've got going on. What is your next event? Do y'all have the next event scheduled? Any idea?
So our next event is the Earth Day run.
Okay.
So it's a 5K, 1K, 5K on the Greenway, and all elementary and middle school kids in Page County, whether you're in Page County Public Schools, homeschool, go to private school, doesn't matter, as long as you're in Page County, can run for free, because we use some grant funding from the Virginia Foundation for Healthy Youth to encourage kids to come out and get active and hopefully bring their families out with them. And then after that, that's April. I guess we will have the duck race in July at the 4th of July Festival, the Downtown Get Down in Luray, and then we'll be participating with National Night Out, and then we will have our cardboard boat regatta again in August, the first weekend in August. So make plans. We're looking for that to be even bigger this year.
We're already ready for that.
So
we're already ready.
We are excited to see some cardboard boats out there.
Is your registration for the Earth Day event, is that already open, or when does that?
It will open hopefully by the end of this week. So we had to wait for the Polar Plunge to close.
Okay.
So hopefully we will get that out by the end of this week, and it'll be on our website.
Okay, awesome.
I would also say stay tuned for some of our other smaller events, like we do the Movies on Main there in the town of Luray. That's coming up March 15th. That's right around the corner. And then we'll obviously be accompanying any of the local movie nights here in the town of Stanley and any of those events that we can piggyback off of and hopefully come out and deliver some good messages to the community.
Just keep checking in on Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely.
And
You can
see what
definitely
events
stay
you
up
guys
to
have.
date with kind of all of our adventures or misadventures on non-social media.
Right.
Well, thank you guys for sitting down with us and coming out.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It was really great. Really appreciate it.
And there you have it.